Hi, everyone. This is Lance Hood, and on the call today, we're going to share some of the best and brightest companies. Today, we're speaking with Connor Gillivan from FreeeUp. FreeeUp is different. FreeeUp recruits, interviews, and vets hundreds of freelancers each week, only allowing the top 1% into their network. They're one of the fastest outsourcing marketplaces on the web, and they've recently grown by over 500% and were featured on the Entrepreneur 360 list. Connor, welcome to the call.
Lance, thanks for having me, and hello to everyone who's listening.
Can you take 2 to 3 minutes and share a little bit about your company and maybe a few of the milestones that made it what it is today?
Yeah, of course. So just a little bit of a background. As Lance said, I am the CMO, so the Chief Marketing Officer of FreeeUp. And FreeeUp is all about helping online business owners hire reliable freelancers. My business partner and I started our first business while we were still in college, and we sold over $30 million on Amazon.com. We were working with suppliers around the United States, and in order to handle all of the operations of the business, we hired a lot of freelancers from different online hiring platforms. And if you're familiar with hiring online, you may know that you can go to these sites, you can post a job, you'll get 10 to 25 applications, and then it's your job as a business owner to interview them, vet them, and try to pick the right one for your business. But at the end of the day, sometimes you'll make a good decision, but that person may end up not working out in the long run. And other times you may make a bad decision and you're back at step one trying to find someone to work with your business. So when we went through this process after a couple of years, we wanted to create a better way. And so that was why we created FreeeUp. So as Lance said, FreeeUp is a little bit different in that we actually interview and vet all freelancers before they get into our network. And then we make them available for hourly rates from $5 all the way up to $75 per hour on a first-come, first-served basis. And the reason that our clients really love us is that we're very hands-on. So if there's any issues while you're working with a freelancer, you can reach out to us. We have a support team that will help you around the clock. And then we're also protection against turnover. Business owners hate turnover. We know that we did when we were going through the hiring process at first. So if, for whatever reason, a freelancer ever quits that you've hired with us, we replace them immediately, and then we also cover any replacement costs. So that's a little bit of how FreeeUp helps business owners today. Our milestones have really been great so far. In the first year, we were very focused on working with Amazon sellers. Since that was our background, we were able to really work into that niche at first. And then in the second year, we really expanded into working with all e-commerce companies and then a lot of agencies, business coaches, and consultants and startups. So today we have over 800 freelancers in the network that we've already pre-vetted and interviewed. And those freelancers offer over 65 different skill sets, a lot of skill sets that can help with your e-commerce business, with your digital marketing, or with your web development and web design.
Connor, as we get started here today, I think it'd be helpful for everyone if they just go to the link and see what we're talking about. So everyone, if you can go to tryfreeup.betterbusinesses.co or just click on the link right here by the interview. And that is also the only way that we can make sure that you get access to FreeeUp's current best offer. So Connor, I've researched you guys. You guys have some of the most raving fans I've seen. But I know that there's people listening who aren't familiar with your company and how it can help them. So I think it's important if you take a few minutes and share some of the stories of what you've done for other people and how that's benefited them.
Absolutely. So to today, we've helped thousands of business owners save more time for themselves and make their operations more efficient. So, I mean, the stories very much overlap in terms of all of the different businesses that we've worked with. But the main things that it comes back to is we're working with business owners or marketing managers or hiring managers who are looking to take repetitive or operational tasks off their plate. So they will come to FreeeUp and they'll say we're looking to take a certain task off of our plate and we're looking to hire someone for this specific budget. We go ahead and look into our network, introduce them to them, make sure that it's the right fit, and then help them go through the management practices as well. And what that does for them is it gives them more time in each day to actually work on things that they're best at. I think one thing that my business partner and I learned as we've been growing this business is that we don't have enough time in the day. We don't have enough time to do every process, send every email and complete every task. And so we're always looking for ways that we can outsource it to a reliable freelancer. The other way that we've really been able to help businesses is by helping them to add expertise to their company that they didn't have before. And this is another way that we really encourage people to utilize freelancers. A specific example from our business. Neither myself nor my business partner are experts at Facebook ads. It's just not something that we ever got into. We know a good amount about it, but we're not high-level experts. And so at a certain point within our business, we decided to hire a freelancer who had been building Facebook ads for over 3 years, working with a large amount of clients, working with large companies to help them scale their revenues. And by doing that, instead of trying to focus on it ourselves, we were able to really continue to grow the business and stay focused on what we do best. So all of these client stories and customer testimonials, and as you said, you can read hundreds of reviews online about people who have used us. They all come back to people having a really great experience in a very fluid, simple time, hiring people that can help them save their time or add an expertise to their business.
Yeah, I can personally vouch for how important that is. We've looked in the past at, when you're growing really fast, you have to bring on help. One of the things that is frustrating is when you go to an organization that has freelancers or virtual employees and they find some people and you have to go through this long drawn out interview process and you don't really know much about them. And it's just so frustrating. So to have a company that would actually go through the list of applicants, pull out the top 1%, and then hand connect you with those people so that you don't have to the last thing you want to do is go through the process of finding somebody and then go through the long drawn out process of training them up to a certain level. I just think that what you do really stands out. I'm not familiar with anybody else doing this, and that's one of the reasons why I just want to bring you on. I'm very impressed with this. So, Connor, can you share some of the other, challenges businesses are experiencing, some of the ways that your service could really help people?
Yeah, of course. So one of the big challenges that we see, and it goes back a little bit to the success stories that I was talking about, but one of the biggest challenges that we see with clients and customers coming to FreeeUp is that the business owner doesn't actually know how to delegate tasks off of their plate. So they're great entrepreneurs. They're great at running their business. They've built it up to a sustainable level, but they just don't know how then to delegate those tasks to the right people. And maybe sometimes they just don't trust to pass it off to someone because they themselves have seen how well they can do it and they think they can do it best. And this was even an issue that I once had when I was an entrepreneur, but I've definitely gotten over it and really see the power of being able to delegate tasks. But I would say that's one of the bigger challenges that we see, and that's a great way that we can help businesses get over that hump from a small to a medium-sized business, put a group of freelancers around them with specific skill sets, allow them to really handle the operations and specific parts of growth of the business while the owner stays focused on how they can help the business best.
It is true, and especially if you're dealing with maybe even a smaller business. If you're the owner, you kind of made the business what it is today, and it's kind of nerve-wracking putting somebody else in to fill your shoes and letting go of some of that stuff. But at a certain point, there's only so much weight you can put on your own back before you just can't do it anymore. So the freedom is really in freeing up and allowing yourself to get help. And I think the safest place is where there's someone here that, is already proven to have the skills you need. Do you find that that's a big challenge with people when they want to outsource, but yet they have a hard time letting it go?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a hurdle that all business owners have to get over, and even managers within larger companies, they have to eventually get over that hurdle to let go of something. And the way that we kind of encourage people to go about it is to create really good processes. So if you're the person that owns the business, or you're the person managing that specific operation, make sure that you write down that process that you're seeing so much success with and that you're really attached to. And then if you can get that all down on paper and you set up a good session with someone who has experience within that task or within that specific operation, and you can show them the tricks and the tips that you've been using to make it work so well, I think that alleviates a lot of the stress of, oh man, I don't want to take this off my plate. I don't know if the next person is going to be able to do it as well as I can. Well, if you're giving them the exact process that you were working with and seeing success with, it should translate into that person being able to learn it, take it over, and really own it themselves so you can work on other things.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the other things that go into people's mind, because this is something that I had to push through when we were growing, which is, oh my gosh, I have to articulate how this person is supposed to do this. Like all the work of writing down, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. And if it happens like this, you got to do it like this. But, I can tell you this, it seemed daunting and I didn't want to do it. And it's something that I wanted to procrastinate because I was like, oh, I don't even want to write it down. It's so easy for me to do. But that is a trap, because if you stay in that place, you don't allow yourself to grow, but also you limit your quality of life, because these people who are here to help you, they actually increase your quality of life and they increase your productivity and your time off. So it's just one of those necessary barriers to just push through and document this. And then you actually have this redundancy in place, because now that you have these training procedures for each of these spots, now you can bring on different people to help out all the time. And you actually are in a better place. Is that what you find?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And like I said, it's something that I struggled with at first, but over the years, I've really seen the power of, if you can put that process down onto paper and then find intelligent people that have experience within doing that type of task in the past, it frees up so much of your time. It gives you the ability to focus on how you can really grow your business while being able to trust someone else to handle that task that you were working on before.
Right. And I can imagine how, if you're working 60 hours a week with the right help and with everything in place, you could get that down to 20.
Yeah, absolutely. And it becomes addicting to a certain point too. Once you find success doing it with one operation or one task and it's working out really well and you have those extra hours, you want to keep doing it for other tasks that you have on your plate. And then as you create more tasks, if you can do the same thing, it just becomes a repetitive process that you can really keep doing throughout the year and as you're building your business.
Right. Your time's valuable. So I would definitely think that having quality people is well worth your time. So Connor, one of the other things is I have all these outsourced people, they're doing work for me, but then I'm a manager. I don't want to sit and have to spend all my time managing a bunch of people. And we've had this experience before where we grew really fast and I had 21 contractors, and I was spending all my time managing people, and that became a job in and of itself. So how do you guys overcome that?
Yeah, great question, and completely understand that. We ran into it at a certain point while growing our businesses as well. So we actually have remote managers available through the FreeeUp marketplace that businesses can hire once they reach that point where the management that they're handling themselves is too much. So, it went from they're doing all the tasks to they've hired enough people to where now all they're doing is managing, and they want to get out of that role so that they can get back into more of growth tasks or other projects that are going to help grow their business. And so we have that middleman, the remote manager, who can be hired for, again, an hourly rate. And you can set them up with expectations that they'll stay in communication with all of the freelancers that you've already hired. You can give them goals that you want to hold those freelancers to, and then you can ask them for daily or weekly updates that are going to keep you in the loop with what those freelancers are up to and how they're growing within their tasks, but so that you don't have to be directly involved in the day-to-day with the freelancers that you've hired.
Mm-hmm. So then how does this work? Say I have this virtual freelancer or outsourced person. Is this technically a true contractor, or is this someone who will inevitably be viewed as a employee by the government? Because then there's all kinds of other expenses that I wasn't even thinking, like health insurance or
Sure.
overtime or stuff. How does this work?
Sure. So we were very careful when we set up the marketplace to the point where everyone that's being hired through the FreeeUp marketplace is an independent contractor. So if the U.S. government is looking at it, they're going to be viewing them as an independent contractor. We worked with a legal team to make sure that this was all set up properly, and so that there was a very clear distinction between, what is an employee, what is an independent contractor, and if, of course, the IRS has their whole list of checkpoints that kind of distinguish one from the other. So businesses that are hiring through FreeeUp can be assured that they're hiring people that are running their own freelance businesses. So all freelancers that come into the network from the United States provide an EIN proving that they themselves are a business owner, and that they're out there looking to get more clients, looking to build their freelance business. So there really aren't any issues to worry about when it comes to independent contractor versus employee.
So when I would hire people, do I hire them based upon like a job need or so many hours a week or month? How does it work?
Of course. So we try to keep it as simple as possible. So the way that it works is you'll create a FreeeUp account. It doesn't cost anything to create your account. And then once you're into your account, there's a big request a worker button. And that brings up a form, and it asks you a number of questions that's very similar to a job post. So it's going to ask you the skill set that you're looking for. It's going to ask you your budget that you're looking to stay within based off of hourly rates. It's going to ask you for more details about the tasks or the operations that freelancer may be completing. And then it's going to go through a number of other questions just to specify exactly who you're looking for. That gets submitted to FreeeUp. And then we go into our marketplace of over 800 freelancers, find someone that matches up with the needs of your business, and we introduce you to that person via email and right through your FreeeUp account. You can take 10 to 15 minutes to chat with them, ask them questions, see if it's a fit. If you really like them, you can hire them, and then the FreeeUp software handles all billing and hours tracking. And then if for whatever reason you'd like to be introduced to someone else, you can let us know your feedback, and then we introduce you to someone within a couple hours again.
So how long does it take for somebody to, so say, we have the link that's right here where people can go through, and also,
Yep.
Let me say this: we do have a code because you offered to help everybody get a discount when they first get started. So actually, if you go to the link, there's going to be a coupon code, which is called Better Biz 25, and that's BETTERBIZ 25, and they can put in that coupon code. And what's that going to do?
So that's going to give them $25 off their first invoice. So if they start to hire someone and they hire them for, they hire one person for $25 an hour and they hire them for 1 hour, after the first week they'll receive their invoice, and that $25 will be discounted so that they could really try out the service and see if it's something that they like.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And so when they go there, how long does it take for somebody to get started and be potentially working with their first outsourcer?
Yeah, great question. So you can do it as quick as, under 24 hours, same day. So it takes about 10 minutes to set up your account and get in there. You can submit your request within about 5 minutes after that. And then within a couple of hours, we usually introduce you to someone that you can speak with. If it worked out perfectly where they were great the first time, you could hire them and have them working that day if their schedule permitted it. So it's a very fast hiring process. And that's a reason why a lot of clients really love us. We're always a resource where they can hire someone quickly. They can at least be introduced to people, and they can pause them on and off if for whatever reason they don't want them to work a certain month. They can stop them. There's no minimums or anything along those lines.
One of the things that I wanted to follow up and touch on is the interview and vetting process. To me, it's like I don't even know what that would be or the best way to do it. Can you explain to people what's important about that and the best ways to go about that?
So the interview and vetting process it's definitely a lot when you're first starting to hire, and it can be pretty overwhelming. Like I said, if you're going to other places where you're just posting a job and getting, 10 to 25 applicants, and then you're trying to interview 5 of them, it's a lot to go through, and sometimes you may not know the right questions to ask or what exactly you're looking for. And something to keep in mind too is that people who are looking for jobs are pretty much trained to interview well. So it makes it even harder as a business owner to figure out, is this person being honest? Are they a good fit for my company culture? Do they actually have the skill sets that they have? And is their experience enough for the position that I'm hiring for? So, that's one of the major ways that we at FreeeUp help out in that process. We have an internal team that interviews hundreds of freelancers every single week, and we put them through a pretty rigorous interview and vetting process, starting with an application, going to a one-on-one interview, and then also introducing them to the marketplace's communication best practices. And these best practices teach them how to talk to clients, how to set expectations, how to do check-ins and things along these lines. So my advice for people who are looking to interview and looking to vet is you want to focus on 3 things. The first is their skills. So you want to really hammer down into that person's skill set. You want to ask them specific questions about what they say they're great at and see how they answer. Make sure that they can give you situations where they've made improvements, maybe even have them give you quote unquote case studies of where they've been able to help other clients or other business owners that they've worked with. The second is you want to look at their attitude. So this is the one that I kind of compare to your company culture. So if you have certain values within your business, you want to ask questions that go around those values and see if that person aligns with your beliefs, your thoughts, and see if it's a way that you could work together pretty well. You can be very direct with it and just kind of get their thoughts on it. I personally like to create situational questions. So, one that I really like to ask is, if you're going to be late to, let's say if you're going to be late to a meeting, how do you react to that? Based off of their response, it kind of gives me a good idea of how their mind works and how honest they are as a person. You can go into other questions just asking them, how much do you really enjoy the work that you do and what you're doing? If you're a company that really values passion in people, you can clearly see by someone's answer how passionate they are about the specific skill set that they have. So I like to look for kind of unique ways to ask situational questions that then get to the heart of the value that you're looking to find. The third quality that you want to look for is their ability to communicate. This is big, if you're hiring someone in-house, but even bigger if you're hiring someone that's outsourced, because chances are you're never going to see them in person, and you're only going to communicate with them through chat or phone call or video call. So you want to ask them very specific questions about how they communicate with past clients, past business owners, and make sure that it's something that is going to work for you, and really set the expectation clear that communication is very important to you, and that's something that if it can't be upheld, it could really sever the relationship of working together.
That's very important. That all makes sense. What differentiates FreeeUp from other companies that do what you do? I know there's other companies that really, they try to offer outsourcing and stuff like that, but everybody's a little different, and I want people to understand how you stand out, because you obviously do. I couldn't read another review because there's so many positive reviews out there that I gave up. You guys are awesome. So tell us how you stand out for people who don't know you.
Absolutely. So there's really 3 things that make us stand out. The first and probably the biggest is that we have a pre-vetted network of freelancers. So on other websites, any freelancer can sign up and they can start to offer their skills, start to offer their services, start to apply to jobs, start to meet clients. With FreeeUp, you have to go through like I was saying, an interview process, and only the top 1% of freelancers get into our network. So 1 out of every 100 people that apply get into the network. The other 99 are sent off to look at other options because we're looking to have a very exclusive network. So that's the number one differentiator. The second is that we have amazing and hands-on support. So on other marketplaces, there may not be somewhere that you can turn if you have an issue or if you have a question about your hiring experience. With us, you always have myself, you have my business owner, and we have an internal support team that is available around the clock to answer questions, to help you with hiring through your account, and to handle any billing issues that you run into with any freelancers. And then the third thing that makes us different is our turnover guarantee. So as I said earlier, businesses hate turnover. In the rare case that a freelancer were ever to quit that you had hired through us, we'll replace them within 24 hours, and we'll cover any replacement costs that you incurred as a business owner.
That's pretty amazing. So, I mean, you clearly stand out. So what that also tells me as I was listening to you is when you go with some of the other outsourcing places, guess who they're full of? The people that didn't make FreeeUp. So, so with that, what are the really quick as we end this call? What are the expectations that people should have or could have over the coming days, weeks, months if they start really using FreeeUp to take a load off of their business and help them grow?
Of course. So a very realistic expectation is you can start to take 10 to 20 hours directly off your plate. And I'm talking tasks, maybe it's managing your emails, doing a lot of the daily tasks that you do to run your business. You can take those off your plate in under 24 hours by using FreeeUp. You can come to FreeeUp. You can request the specific skill set and the specific freelancer that you're looking for, get introduced to freelancers within hours, talk to them, hire them on the same day, and really get them implemented into your business while trusting that they are experienced, skilled, and highly communicative freelancers that have already been interviewed and vetted by us.
Well, that makes sense. So you can get rid of the mundane stuff that you shouldn't be doing anyway, but you can also find experts that exceed your experience and capabilities.
Exactly.
Instant access to awesomeness. Okay. I love that. So I'll just tell everybody this is an opportunity. Go ahead, go to that link, check out FreeeUp, and there is the coupon code. We'll put it right here on the page, and you can even get a discount. Thank you, Connor. I really appreciate having you on the call and hope to talk with you again in the future.
Thanks, Lance. I really appreciate it.